What is the best steakhouse in Nashville? We have plenty of options, but in today's video, I'm breaking down my top 5. Everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent, and I specialize in helping out-of-staters relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you're notified anytime I release new video content. Okay, so today's video we're talking about my top 5 favorite steakhouses in the Nashville area. Now, to me, there's almost nothing better than celebrating a birthday or a big win or just any milestone with a good glass of wine at a nice steakhouse. So, my husband and I have tried out several in the Nashville area. So again, today, this is gonna be my top 5 list. Now, let me prep you before I go into it. I'm gonna start with 5 and go all the way down to 1. But I want you to know, number 1, to me, that is a solidified spot. When we're talking about 2, 3, 4, and 5, truth be told, they really all could compete for the second spot. This is kind of like splitting hairs, but I figured I needed to put them in some sort of order. So just know as I'm going through, if it's at number 5, that doesn't mean it's like not as good as, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I had to figure out a way to put them all in order, so this is gonna be my order, but just know all 5 are excellent recommendations. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Number 5 on my list is going to be CORK and 𝐒𝐀. This is located in downtown Franklin. If you're trying to figure out where CORK and 𝐒𝐀 is located because it's kind of tucked off to the side, you're gonna wanna look for 55 South, and then you make a turn on that side of the street and you go down just a little ways, and there's where CORK and 𝐒𝐀 is going to be. Now, CORK and 𝐒𝐀 is going to be a bit of a more intimate experience because the space is not as large as other steakhouses. And you also have a little bit of a mix between glam and rustic. So while you do have more of this upscale experience, the atmosphere gives it a hint of being a little bit more laid back. But it is still a really nice experience. You're still gonna wanna dress nice when you go. A couple of things that I loved about CORK and 𝐒𝐀, I'm a big tartare person, so the fact that they had tuna tartare on their appetizer menu was already a big plus in my book. They also have a great wine menu, and my steak was cooked to perfection, because we all know sometimes steakhouses can botch it. So part of the reason why these places are landing on my list is because they got it right with my steak temperature the first time. And they do have a couple of seasonal items, and they're constantly changing up their menu in terms of some of their seasonal offerings, which is really cool, so that if you go maybe in the spring versus the winter, you can get a little bit of a different experience each time. Another reason why CORK and 𝐒𝐀 lands on my list is because of their extensive list of steak accompaniments. So it's not just sauces that they have available. Granted, they do have black truffle butter, which is always gonna be a win in my book, but they also have things like traditional Oscar, a lobster tail, scallops. They have several different options. I think they have a list of like 8 or 10 different options, so you can really make your steak what you want it and customize it to you. So this is why CORK and 𝐒𝐀 lands at number 5 on my list. Now, number 4 is going to be Perry's. This is going to be located in Cool Springs. It is a chain. There are other Perry's across the country, but this is relatively new to the Cool Springs area. A couple of reasons why Perry's is going to land at number 4. So if you're looking at Perry's versus CORK and 𝐒𝐀, Perry's, the atmosphere is going to give you more of that true upscale dining experience. The lights are going to be lower. You have the white tablecloths on the tables. So and again, the ambience just makes it feel a little bit more upscale than maybe say CORK and 𝐒𝐀. Now, another reason why I love Perry's, they have an extensive list of appetizers. So not only do they have some tartare on there, they also are going to have things like escargot and carpaccio. And so they just give you more options, which is, I'm a big food person, so I enjoy getting to try different things each time I go. Another thing I love about Perry's is that, yes, you can get your traditional cuts of meat and you can make it whatever you want, because they do have their own list of steak accompaniments, but they also have a couple of signature dishes, one being their signature filet, and this is going to come with a perfectly cooked filet and crab meat and sauce on top. and I cannot even begin to tell you, it was phenomenal. I am a big surf and turf kind of girl. I love to mix crab with steak if I can, and that dish was fantastic. Can't say enough good things about it. They also have another signature dish that maybe if you're not in a filet kind of mood, they actually are famous for their pork chops. And I mean, it's a whole presentation that happens. They bring it to the table, cut it in front of you, and it is a ton of meat. Most people on their own cannot finish it and end up taking it home. But that's just something to know. That is another highly recommended dish. And like I said, they're really big on tableside presentation. So another thing that I really loved about my experience at Perry's is that there are certain desserts that you can get made at tableside where they bring in a burner, they light it on fire. And for me, that's just a really fun experience, and it just adds something to the whole dining experience. So those are the reasons why Perry lands at number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list is going to be Eddie V's. Now this is actually located in downtown Nashville in the big new 5th and Broad development. So it's gonna be located right across from Bridgestone Arena, right in the heart of downtown Nashville. Eddie V's, similar to Perry's, is new to the Nashville area. So Eddie V's is actually considered a prime seafood restaurant. So they have lots of seafood options, and this is actually gonna be the freshest seafood that you can get in Nashville. So if you were somebody like me that maybe you wanna pair a steak with some seafood, this is going to be the place you want to go. They actually fly in the seafood every day, fresh, and you cannot get fresher seafood anywhere in Nashville. But they have a really great wine list if you're somebody that enjoys wine. The steaks were cooked to perfection. If you love oysters, they have several different oyster options. They were fantastic, and again, the freshest that you can get in Nashville. And then they're also big on certain presentations. So if you are maybe somebody that likes a good old fashioned, they have this really great presentation where the glass comes in this dome that's smoked the old fashioned. Apparently it's really good. That's not my thing, but I have heard it is fantastic. And again, they even have 𝐋𝐈𝐊𝐄 wine by the glass. So if you are a 𝐋𝐈𝐊 girl like me, that is just something to know. The experience, they do have 2 stories. They are really big on customer service there. And so you're going to get a top-notch experience when you go. And again, the food is really good. So that is why Eddie V's is landing at number 3 on my list. Number 2 on my list is going to be a tried and true favorite in the Nashville area, and that's Jeff Ruby's. Now, I do know Jeff Ruby's does have a couple other locations in the southeast, but this one is going to be located in downtown Nashville. Now, couple of things to know off the bat about Jeff Ruby's. They are a white glove service. Another couple of reasons why Jeff Ruby's lands on the list. The inside is going to be an Art Deco feel, which is really fun. And they have this huge wine wall. They have, again, another extensive list of wines, which are really good. And then something really fun about it is that they actually have a sushi bar part of the restaurant. So if you want maybe a small sushi roll as your appetizer, you have the ability to do that. The steaks, every time I've been, have been cooked to perfection. And then at Jeff Ruby's, you have the ability to split larger sides. So if you're trying to maybe decide between a few, you and whomever you're with can pick a couple and split them because they are big enough to share. But it is a really great experience. We've been there several times, and every time is just an outstanding experience and just really good food. Okay, so what lands at the number 1 spot on my list? Now, again, we have tried all different steakhouses. Number 1, we have been to several times. It's kind of like that's our benchmark. Like we go back to that after trying a new one and we're like, how does it compare? So what is number 1? Number 1 is going to be Bourbon Steak. It is located at the top of the JW Marriott in downtown Nashville. It is phenomenal from start to finish. So why does it consistently stay at number 1 on my list? First thing is going to be the ambiance and the views. You cannot beat it anywhere in Nashville. They have stunning floor to ceiling windows, so you get an incredible view of downtown Nashville, and it's just something you can't beat. Number 2, they have a great bar with lots of bar options. Outside of just wine and your normal cocktails, they have so much to offer. So if maybe you want to go, grab a drink, enjoy the view while you wait for your table, it's all part of the experience, and they just have so much to offer. Now, when I first went to Bourbon Steak, this next thing is why it automatically shot to the top of number 1 on my list. So instead of bringing out a basket of bread at the beginning of the meal, they actually bring out a serving of French fries, and it's actually 3 different kinds of seasoned French fries with 3 different dipping sauces. So if you are not a bread person, this is an awesome option, and the seasonings mixed with the sauces is just really good. Then on top of that, I have yet to find a steak better than the one that I can always get at Bourbon Steak. And here's the thing, if you are somebody that deals with certain food allergies like I do, you know that sometimes, especially if it's gluten or whatever it may be, you can be limited in what kind of sides you can have. Now, the best part was they actually made a crab mac and cheese that I could have with the allergies that I deal with. And that crab mac and cheese is still the best that I have ever had. And Bourbon Steak, they are really about your experience. They are about going above and beyond. So if they know that you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary or whatever it may be, they are really good about making sure that you are well taken care of and that the experience is really special for you. So that is why Bourbon Steak lands at number 1. When you're looking at all the factors combined, you really cannot beat between the food, the ambiance, the experience. You cannot beat Bourbon Steak. It is my favorite, and just know if you are coming to Nashville, try to make a reservation at least 2 weeks out or more for any of these steak restaurants because they book up really quickly. Just remember, these are all my personal preferences, and again, numbers 2 through 5, really, it's like splitting hairs between which one's better than the other, but I knew I needed to put it in some sort of numerical order for you. So just know, Bourbon Steak is always probably gonna be number 1. It's gonna be hard to find a steakhouse in Nashville that's going to top that for me. But then when you're looking at 2 through 5, those really and truly could almost be interchanged just depending on your personal preference and what kind of experience or what kind of menu you're looking for. But again, just because something lands at number 5 does not mean by any means that it is bad. These are all phenomenal places, and really and truly 2 through 5 is just like splitting hairs. If you have another favorite steak restaurant in Nashville, please feel free to drop it down below. Let me know what's your favorite, what you are loving in Nashville. Now, if you're looking to move here or visit, please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions you have about the Nashville area. I'm always here to help. I'm Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.